Computer. Lights.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. It's time for us to get working, and I have a literal thing on here that says work on stuff. So we need to work on stuff. And looking down through here, and I'm finding it difficult to find stuff. So, oh man. So, let's move over to here. And we will do this. Okay, that's the other monitor. I had to figure out which monitor it says that it was doing there. All right. Now, we're going to work on springs. And actually, I am thinking about this. The funniest part would be, hi, you can't hear me. Now you can hear me. We're going to work on stuff, and this time we're going to work on stuff with the actual mixer turned up, as opposed to before where there was no mixer. Luckily, I can actually see up here on my monitor that I wasn't transmitting. I shouldn't be up that hot, though. Maybe a little lower than hot. A little hot. There we go. So, playing the game, we played D&D on Saturday night, and for some reason I was sounding super robotic, and so since I wasn't necessarily in that game, I was just hanging because I like to hang with my buddies. I just turned my mixer down so that I wouldn't be interrupting the game with robotic noise of maybe my fan running or something. Who knows what robotic noise would go through, but anyway, so that's the way that works. Anyway, so the joke for today on Springs is work on stuff. I was looking at my to-do list. This is the list that I usually use to guide me through the week. It's got every day on here, and I just write stuff on here that's important for me. I've got like my child's sixth grade startup is next week. So Monday or Tuesday of next week, he starts school. So we've got to make sure he's totally prepped and ready to go starting Saturday. So that's what I put on there. The other things that's on here are Thursday. Thursday, there will be no show here. And the reason there will be no show is they're going to replace the electrical service on the side of the house. And so when they do, we're going to have to shut the power down for the majority of the day. So there won't be any power in the house here. It's a perfect day for me to shut everything down, get everything moved over, stuff like that. I'm actually thinking of taking the big computer in and putting in an SSD for the C drive so that it'll be much faster, because right now we're at about 15 minutes or so to start up. And I feel like that's probably a little excessive. We're also having a lot of read-write errors and problems reading and things like that. So I'm just going to take that in, have them put in an SSD, might have them put in another 32 gigs of memory so that we've got slot 1 and 3 in, and stuff like that. These are just things. But the funny thing that I ran across today was every morning my Alexa reminds me to check my clipboard to see what I've got on my schedule today. And I have a doctor's appointment for the kiddo. And so, because he's got to do his wellness check because we're coming up on school, which means he gets a couple of his vaccines and stuff like that. But on top of this, it says, work on stuff. I don't know what that means. I'm sure I knew exactly what that meant 100 years ago when I wrote this. But today, I don't know what it means. I legitimately don't. So we're going to do a comic based on that. We're going to start here, as we do most mornings. We're going to take our microfiber cloth and we're going to wipe down the monitor. Like this. And we always want to make sure we wipe sort of a figure 8 sort of structure. Monitors gather a lot of dust and stuff. So when you do the cleaning of your monitor, you want to start from the top and in kind of a figure 8 so that you're kind of doing this. And when you do, this gathers all the stuff but doesn't allow it to escape out the other side. So you want to kind of go into figure 8 and we go all the way down to the bottom. All right. We're on number 251, which for those who did, this comic up here or this comic, 251 would have been their first year. For me, it's my 21st year, so there's that. But I figure if I do this every Monday, it'll be me getting sharp and not really naked. So we're going to go here. We're going to just make a 4-panel out of this guy. Might as well make him stock, right? Add a new raster layer underneath my 4 panels. We're already in blue, but we're at a huge size. Usually I will work about 18 to 20. I'm going to use the technical pen because I actually kind of like the technical pen. I like the Crow Quill okay, but its thin is just a little too thin. So I kind of, I've been kind of thinking it'd be funny if we had something like TB doing social media. So let's go ahead and put a circle and put record, right? Might as well mimic my life, right? We don't need to worry necessarily about his antenna being cut off by the thing, but right, I'll do that. You know what? We'll do a close-up of it. There we go. There. So like looking over his shoulder. There we go. And there's our punchline, which, like we do every week, we will come up with by the time we get there. Might be funny. Or it might not. I don't know. We'll have to see. Make sure that's not anybody who needs to talk to me. Nope. An auto reminder. I don't need an auto reminder. I am already reminded enough. All right. As we oft do, I will go on ahead and put in the text. We call it the interbot. We'll just call it the internet. do this. And then we'll make sure that this is the right size because it's actually not. Huh. It's a fake bold. No. Okay. We may have to go through and fix this. I think somebody's smoking pot outside. Ugh. All right. Okay, so what we've got here is the first bit of text going on in this. And let's see, I don't feel like I'm not quite where I want to be on this. Hmm. There we go. I don't think I can put secret on this line. Yeah, I don't think it'll fit. This technique that I'm doing right now is called widow orphan. Right? So the idea is that I'm going to have to actually make it smaller and then just deal with it. Now I can widow orphan a little bit better. I'm still having to fight with it. What he needs to say is, widow orphan takes forever on this. One of my biggest pet peeves about there we go. That's the punchline we were looking for. That's the punchline we were looking for. maybe what I need to do is go in here and do this. There. That way, this is a little bit more clear as to what I'm making a joke about, and would make some sense that he would be more emphatic about this. Right? He's like all excited. He's figured out the one simple trick. It's trick, isn't it? There we go. It's right here. That's right. Secret. Writing everything down clearly on a clipboard. Checking every day. This would be much better if Clip Studio would let me would let me draw a box instead of just giving me an open plate to work on. A box that would widow orphan like it does in. So, on top of my normal morning allergies, we have had smoke rolling in from Canada and the west side for days. Some of it has been just sitting here and just wiping us out. So I am snotty and low power, and I apologize greatly. Here, let me blow my nose. Sorry about that. Whew, it's been rough. There we go. All right. The next thing is we're going to go in here. All right. make a new raster layer. We're going to go to red. I'm going to add Airborne's perfect for this, right? Now this guy can be red. Move him. There. And then we'll take, we got to rasterize this layer. Otherwise it won't let me. So rasterizing is when you take a layer that is in a vector setup and turn it into a pixel setup. There are two types of drawing schools in drawing. You've got your vector drawing and you've got your raster drawing. In raster, we have a picture, and every one of these is a pink dot, so to speak, that we turn the monitor on and let it do pink dots and decide to resolve a picture, right? This shirt would be a whole bunch of little green dots with some pink up here and some yellow here. And anyway, with vector, you have the computer understanding that there's a line here and a line there, and then everything on this side of the line's pink and everything. Nope. Computer, stop. In this instance, then, the device will understand that there's a line here and a line here, and everything on this side of the line is pink, and everything on this side of the line is green, let's say. And it does that in a sort of a concept idea. So it's a little bit higher level and makes for much sharper curves, because no matter how much you zoom in, this line still says the same thing about each side, right? With raster, the closer you get, the more you see the individual dots. So it becomes a little bit more of a problem. Okay, so we have to rasterize this layer, otherwise I can't put the, and you can see here, this is where so the pixels become obvious here. This is rasterized now. I'm doing everything in super high resolution so that I don't have to worry about anomalies and stuff, but you won't see these pixels at the normal distance. Like here, you don't see it. You'll never see those pixels. This is all right. We're going to take this and duplicate the layer, and one more time, duplicate the layer. Now we're going to take each one of these layers and move it out. All right, because he's just, the whole thing is him recording on here, so we're just going to keep doing that. We're going to hit the wrong key. Right. Control and E, not Control and B, makes everything do the things that we need it to do. And put this on top of these 4 panels, because it's actually artwork. And we're going to go then to layer 3 has nothing on it. So we're going to delete this layer. No, we're actually not going to delete that. I need to delete it because it's not the way we do things, right? Little scatterbrains today. Okay, I'm going to go in here to this. And I kind of want to drop this down a little bit. This guy. Want him to like you got a little closer to the camera, sort of conspiratorially. Guess what we're talking about today? Yeah, sort of thing. So he's conspiring to tell you something you didn't know existed before. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and start inking. I always ink in on the 4-panel page because it's already set up to do the things that it needs to do. So we'll set our technical pen for roughly the same size. See how it's the same size. First thing we always do are the balloons. Stop. Right? We always do the balloons. And it's because the balloons are on the top. They're on top of all of your artwork. So we're going to do the balloons first. There we go. Make sure the balloons don't leak. Well, that was nice. Okay. These are called tails for balloons. Right? I'm actually going to come back down from up here. Like that. Boy, I'm having a real problem with that, aren't I? I'll go back to the first panel, and I'm actually going to draw. We're in a good one, but I'm going to put into 18 is my standard width for sort of doing these things. I'm going to draw them a little larger. Whip antenna. It's going out like here or something. It's behind the dialogue balloon. It won't matter. So it's very important that you do all of your resizing and stuff like that in the blue line mode. Because we always want to have consistent line width, and so your line width will change if you enlarge from now. When we take just the black line work and we enlarge it now, we'd end up with this panel having thicker lines than this panel, and it will look inconsistent. Okay. The records will ultimately be on top, so it's okay if I go over them, because they should be really here. Right, so it won't matter. And then right here, we're going to be really close. But just like the other two, we don't want any inconsistency on the line width. Just because we're really close to them doesn't mean that we have to have thicker lines. In fact, line consistency is kind of a thing. Right? What is my problem? There. This is all on the record side. That's going to make my life much more difficult than it needs to. How much of that did I do on the actual? Everything up to, well, that's nice. So we'll have to undo this. But we don't want to go back because that'd be ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is this. This layer is actually legitimately going to be we should probably turn off our 4 panels too. I don't even have to worry about it. There. Stop mixing up my panels. And this, we'll just delete the record out of it. And I want to keep these separate because otherwise I have to color these. All right, so we want to do this and just merge that. No, merge that with the layer below it. So we'll do that. Okay, back to the 4 panels. These are on a different layer. So we're going to stay on the 4 panel layer. And then we're going to go back to technical pen. And here we're just going to do this. We're going to have the clipboard going this way. Right. And I'm intentionally sort of making this a slight distance. So we've got a little bit of a distance going on here. And the position of his eyes indicate where he's looking. I've intentionally kind of put them close together and down. And that makes it look like he's looking at the clipboard. My characters only have eyes. So Everything has to be expressed through the eyes. All right. All right. Not a lot going on here. Right, but that's okay. Springs Monday. Hey, Brent. And we'll duplicate the layer, put it underneath, and we'll start grabbing our colors, right? How are you doing today, my good friend? Yeah, it's a long week, and we are on exactly Monday. There we go. The piece of paper should be a kind of a grayish. Trying to do stuff. I was saying that this comic came about this morning as I was prepping for the show, because I actually do write everything critical on a clipboard. Each day is color coded. And this morning, I get up and I look at my clipboard and it says that the kiddo has a doctor's appointment. Okay, that's cool. But then it says work on stuff. Not what stuff, just stuff. So we're totally working on stuff. Okay, next thing we're going to do is take our pen. We're going to go in here and just do this, because the piece of paper is clipped to the clipboard. So there we go. I'm going ahead and fill the bubbles, text bubbles. Make sure that there aren't any errors in this before I. So the way you check this is to turn off everything in the background and see if you see checkerboard. All right. We don't see checkerboard there. No checkerboard there. All right. I don't see any checkerboard. Good. Okay. And then we're going to, once we got all the colors in, which look all fine, we're going to take, and we're going to do a new raster layer, and you know how this goes. Make this one multiply, take black, we're the one with a pen. And we just do this. Right. Since he is all we've got on here, we can kind of jazz it up a little. There we go, just like this. All right. You may be going, why in the world did you color it also black? And really, it's because we just skipped one small step, which we will go back and fix in just a second. But I kind of like the ability to see exactly where all of this stuff goes. Right? We now know all the things. Do not fill the whole thing. You fill the whole thing. All right. Now we take the one step that we didn't do was move this to 33%. You can see that that makes for good shadow work. Then we will add the other side to this, which is screen and on the right. And this just gives us a little bit of highlight on one side, right? I think it's actually not screen. I think it's the other one, overlay. This is very bright. It's okay. As we said before, it allows us to see what's going on. So make this overlay work. There we go. It's much better. And we're going to come in here and just kind of do that. Okay, now that we've done this, it's great. One thing that's missing, backgrounds. So we're going to take this panel background here. We're going to take a new raster layer on it. Like this. All right. We're going to pick some colors. I feel like since he's yellow, purple. That's kind of one of mine. So I'm going to start with this shade of blue. And we're just going to put a gradient in. And just do the foreground to transparent will work. Right? Ooh. Be careful because unlike, well, okay, you know what? Let's do this. We'll do foreground to background. Okay, let's put it from blue to white. That means no matter which way I go on this one, I can kind of do this back and forth and figure it out. There we go. Like that. And then we'll flip over to the other side over here to this sort of purple thing. And then we'll take this and kind of do this. All right, because now it's right here. It's kind of selling you this cool idea he's got, right? Right. So we'll go here. And as his world sort of starts to deteriorate on this theory process here, I'm going to deteriorate his colors. Right. So we've gone from blue to a purple to red, and now he's going to have the realization that maybe the doctors are onto something, right? And I can just leave that one white because it's funnier, right? But we can't just leave it white because that looks like we didn't do our job. So I'm going to take this red, I'm going to make it a slight gray, like so. And that way we can do this.
It's time to take a quick look.
Right? And even though this panel is white, I put a little bit of gray in it. Makes it feel a little bit more like we've got what we're doing here. We know what we're doing, sort of thing. Okay. You know what the light change means? It means it is time for us to stand up and not stand up and stretch. There we go. We'll walk over here. We'll walk back. And I'm prepping my office because we're going to redo it. In doing so, I have now stacked so much stuff over here, I can no longer get to my window temporarily. But we'll be back there. All right. Phew. That was a good walk of maybe 10 meters. So, yeah, we're going to redo the office, but this time with all standing desks. Because I'm noticing sitting in this chair is contributing to really kind of unpleasant sciatica. And so, yeah, I know. We just did it a year ago. And I like this design. But like I said, sitting here is contributing to sciatica. And honestly, I don't want sciatica. It's no fun. So we're going to redo everything. But it should be better. This time, I'm going to spread stuff out a little bit more. The interior area of this office will be open and free to do stuff in. Like we'll be able to, you know, when we take a walk, we could walk around, and I'll put the camera in this corner aiming that way. And then I'm going to take the desk and put it over here. And then my big drawing desk will live there, and the tablet I'm going to move to right here, right there, so that whenever we're working, I can look outside, and if it's snowing, then I can watch the snow, and if there are kids playing or whatever, I can watch the kids, and it gives me sort of at least attempting to feel like that I'm outside. The other thing is that the AC unit I just bought is going to live in that door. So we've got kind of that stuff going on. So it's going to be a good redo. We have these old closet doors that used to be in the house here, and we have removed them for one reason or another. And we're perfectly content with not having these closet doors. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take those closet doors that have been sitting outside, and we're going to turn them into desktops effectively. And I'm going to put them at about this height right here. So we'll be right about here, give or take, on the wall, just underneath that light switch. And we're going to run them all the way across here and all the way across here. And then that way I can stand at my desk. And then once we've done that, we're going to then put my computer underneath the shelf here with all the wiring coming up through the door handle, because conveniently doors have door handles, so I can just run the wires up through the door handles. And when we do, that should allow me to get to my monitors and everything like that on the desk, but it won't require so much other like stuff here. So that's the battle plan, and it should be a little bit easier on the back. That's what I'm hoping for. Not a spring chicken anymore. Gotta do things for my back. You know how that goes. All right. So here we go, guys. We're here. Looking at this, I think this is a good one to be red. I'm going to turn off blue and make it red because red's funny. Then we're going to take and we're going to turn back on the guide so I can cut it. Yeah, we old. That's just the way it goes. I'd love to say that we're not old, but we are. Okay. Backdrop texture tells us all kinds of things, namely where I'm supposed to cut. Right, so we will take, where is it? Change canvas size. Right. There we go. It's 1 pixel too big. That's all right. We'll zoom in. Why is this important? I don't know what's going on with it. No. I don't know why I have to bring it under that pixel, but I do. And the major reason is because, for reasons that are still beyond me, Facebook doesn't allow us to post to Instagram in anything but 4:5 or 1:19 or 1:9 aspect ratios. It's like these weird aspect ratios, which if I post directly to Instagram is no issue. But if I post to Facebook that goes to Instagram, it has to be exactly the right size. So I don't know. Then we change the image resolution and make it 1200 by 628, right? And that's the appropriate size for everything, right? And we save it as a PNG. Save. Okay, now that we've saved it, we're going to bring up my Instagram uploads. Instagram uploads has the hashtags folder, right? This shows me everything that I can use for any post. So we're going to then go up here and we go to GS Davis Art and we wait because apparently it takes forever for Facebook to figure out what the heck I'm doing. I'll create a post. We'll select both of these, add photo, not in my collections. It's like it picks the weirdest place to start from. So we'll go to Springs 2021 and we'll pick this guy. So as I was saying before, it says wrong aspect ratio. It must be 628 by 1200, and it's not. It's at the wrong aspect ratio. So I think that it always errors no matter what you do. So I hit edit as usual. And then, if I do this, you can see that it says, okay, but we're going to make it exactly the same as it is. Is that all right? And I apply. I don't get it. Okay. I don't get it. Save. So it has changed it from 628 by 1200 to 628 by 1199. I just feel like this is, I don't know. Here we go. And over here I have what I already say is Springs tags. All 30 tags are used. So I copy. I go to my Instagram specific. And I paste. Right. Go to Facebook specific. And I just say Springs. Fewer than 1,000 posts. Someday it won't say that. Right? So I can put it there. I usually put Arvada. Doesn't really matter because people don't always. There is a local Arvada art group which keeps reposting Arvada art. And I mean, they do it all the time and they never post my art. Which makes me wonder what I'm doing wrong. Okay. So we're going to hit publish. And it'll go out. I don't know. Maybe I'm not funny. Maybe I'm funny to 2 whole people in the world. As long as they're entertained, we're fine. I've also always felt that one of the things, the purposes of Springs is not to is not to be funny per se, but to make people feel comfortable and happy. So that's always been kind of my goal with Springs, not necessarily a. It's not supposed to be necessarily a. Are you not watching my show in full right now? I wonder how to edit my games played by G.S. Davis. I don't know. Okay. And then usually I will bounce this and share it to my own newsfeed, so that it's now hanging out of my newsfeed. Oh, so you don't even know. Well, it's now out on Facebook. I just shared it so you can read it. So there we go. And we are done for today. Well, maybe done for the day, but we're done for the day for Springs. Springs is out and about. So Springs has left, and it's now out in the world to exist. So let's talk about what we're going to do this week. So like I had said before, Thursday there is no show. They are replacing my fuse box on the side of the house. So there's no power. There will be no power Thursday. So I'm going to go write or draw over at a Starbucks somewhere, and I'm not going to broadcast. Writing is, I can't broadcast writing. I mean, it's like, you just have me. Yeah, it'd be boring. So tomorrow is going to be a drawing all day, because my buddy David is coming up from Aurora. Right? No power Thursday. There have been a number of times that I have gotten up Thursday morning with no power and thought, the show today is going to be difficult. Because I'm like, I don't think this is going to work like I want it to. So anyway, there we go. We got no power Thursday. Yeah. Watercolor Wednesday, no power Thursday, and guest show Friday. Friday is also Friday the 13th, which my mom was born on Friday the 13th. So we always celebrated Friday the 13th because it was a lucky day in her mind's eye. I guess aspects of our family were, called her unlucky over the years or something. Whatever it was, she was hard pushing against tristanectophobia. So I'm actually kind of happy because that also happens to be my 10th year anniversary with my wife. So that's going to be, it's my 12th year anniversary with my wife. So that's kind of cool because it's on Friday the 13th. My wife, who is not superstitious at all, is kind of like, okay. And I'm like, no, it's a good thing. And she's like, okay, it's fine. Both of those are fine. I don't know. So that's what we got. Wednesday looks like Watercolor Wednesday. I'm hoping that maybe what we will do is maybe plausibly have. So we're still working on parts of the show, of the comic, but we have an actual set for the first comic. So maybe what I'll do today is set up the the comics pre-poses, so we can go on ahead and render them out and then take a look at them and see what we got. Because we'd started on a page where we were very, very close on Chang's face, and then we pulled back a little further. And then the last panel on that was going to be a wide shot of Chang and Jem, her AI friend. And so we were going to have that scene. I think I'll go on ahead and prep that scene today, and then we can work on that tomorrow. And who knows, maybe we can actually print it out and paint it on Wednesday. That'll give us some pages. The pages will be done. I like when pages are done, so that's a plus. So that's a battle plan that I think we can buy into, right? So let's look over here and let's just see where we stand on this. We might be in a place. Yeah. Let's take a look at our pages here. We can close this. All right. It's not VP1 because we need to figure out so it's page 2. Let's open page 2. There we go. Still loading. There we go. And this is where we were last time. Close that. Right. Somebody keeps talking to me. Got lots of talking. Okay. Amanda is picking on Jeremy. I loves them both. But I can kind of see that this is I think she was going through her emails and noticed that I was emailing various, hey, Tormund! I would show you George, but I don't know where George went. So I used to have I have a couch. It's a futon, and it's a couch. And I'm going to move that couch into the kiddo's room. So I've been tearing it up. It's a futon. So right now the futon mattress sits at sort of an angle, and the couch kind of sits like this. So there's this wonderful little tent in there that, boy, the cat loves. Because he's like, I'm just going to hide under here if that's okay with you. And so I get lots of George attacks from underneath the futon because I'll walk by and these little black paws go and they retreat. So little black paws, that's what he's into these days. Yep. There you go. So, okay. I want to finish these pages. They're doing good. This looks beautiful. I'm ecstatic with this page. All we need now, I love this snarl. All right. So let's talk a little bit about. So now that I'm not doing the difference between Springs and Bellatrix Rising. right? Let's talk a little bit about the difference between springs and Bellatrix Rising. There is a tool down here, which is our rounded balloon, ellipse balloons, curved balloons, balloon pen. Right, we can take this balloon pen and just make a balloon, right? And when it does, it adds the balloon in above the frames, which is what we want, because all of these are going to have to be above the frames. The line color really should not be gray. It should be black. It's okay. And the brush size should be up here in the 18s. 18 is like my generic right, Tormund. Good job, dude. So, thinking about this, the splash is on top. This is a left, which means that over here is our spot. So that's important because we're going to do this. All right, we're going to put in our first balloon there. We're going to go fix the balloon. But the best part about this is what we were calling earlier, talking about a vectored object. So this is a vector object. I'm going to go in here, and I think I can edit. I just can't remember how to do it in this, because there's always something going on. Oh, you can add toning to it? Holy crap. It's like everything you can do here. You can do the flashes. You can do balloons. This is wonderful. The controls that I've got over this are insane, right? So we want, there's a subtool under here that I need to find in this is the pen tool, right? It's not the pen tool. It's this pen. Oh, this one. This one. That's it. Control points. That took way too much effort, right? So we're going to come up here. You see how I just kind of went over it? Well, that's okay. We can totally fix it with this control point function right here, right? And I actually can take them out, right? I can take out these lines and do whatever I want with them. So we go back here, and I can add tails. There's a tail. We don't need it for this one, but if I wanted to, I could add a tail. Right? Which is wonderful. I just absolutely love the program's capabilities here. Right? Let's load the script, though, because before we start doing this stuff, let's load the script. Huh? What do we think about loading the script, folks? Guy the artist in my Bellatrix Rising folder. The comics, vignettes, intro 1 doesn't actually have its script on there. This isn't it either. So under Act 1, what do I put it? Where did I put it? Right here. No wonder I can't find it. It's in the wrong folder. Okay. So we're going to take this, and unlike Springs, I actually have a different font that I use for this. In Springs, I use Gaichan. For this, I use Guy Serious. And Guy Serious is a different font that I can't find right now. I know it's installed, but it's always somewhere weird, like down here. Guy Serious. The difference is, right? Looks like you. We're going to do something about this, because that's not acceptable. The spacing is a little weird. So let's First of all, it should be 18, right? On text list, no. Scale rotate. We need to fix its. That's right. We'll get there. And then we'll put another balloon in by putting another. And you'll notice that the text is now inside the balloon function over here on the right side. So inside the balloon layer, you have the text. So the text lives with the balloon, which I love. I'll take another one. I have these sort of in right, and we'll have to go through because it's black. I could have made this easier for myself by not, by putting a medium layer in between that would have. Now, once they're awake more, once she's awake more, I'm going to stop using this hand-drawn thing. Now, here is the key role that needs to make sure you happen. Make sure you always do this. Something I'm not doing, but I will now, which is I will copy the text out of the script over here and paste the text in the script, right? Now, it's remembered that this was guy serious, but it did not, in fact, remember that it's at 18, and I'm not sure why. Because I don't quite grasp when it thinks that something is useful and when it thinks that things aren't useful. Now, rule of comic books, there's no periods. Don't ask me. I just work here. So I'm trying to figure out whether I shouldn't just do this and then drop this down to a 5 point to give it just a little bit of space here. It's hard because her name is Li, which is pronounced Lee, right? Okay, now we look. The other thing we'll want to check is here. We want to check the drawing, the master, because the master drawing tells me a lot about what's going on here and where I wanted things. Lee, wake up, Lee. Both of those fit right up here. Mom, I want 5 more minutes. So I'm going to leave that open. Right, we're going to leave that open right there. But grammar. I know, we're not supposed to put any of that grammar in. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to put in right here, I think. Right. Maybe? I'm not 100% sure if I like this balloon or not here. And I think I may actually move it to like here. And you'll notice that I'm making it rough and screwed up because she's not dying today. So I will take then and do this. Like that. And we'll go in here and just make sure that it's, even though it's not straight, we don't want it to be confused. It's confused right now up here. So we'll deconfuse it. There we go. And then we'll take the text tool. And again, we'll click in here, and then we take the script direct. Move this guy over here. We'll still need to see him. Like that. There we go. And she says, Mom, I just want 5 more minutes. Here, let's see. And again, it's figured out that we're using Guy Serious, but it has not figured out that we're at 18 point. So this is a new font of mine. This one. And I'm not happy with its kerning. Kerning is the distance between letters. So I might go back in and fix its kerning. I don't know if I have something that can do that, but we're going to give it a shot here in a minute because frankly, this is a little bit more complicated than I want it to be. All right. Mom, I just want 5 more minutes. We're going ahead and grab this part here and just make sure that no matter what, it's away from the text, right? Because we don't want it to be near the text. Right, that's what we're after here. We can wiggle that in. There we go, like that. Now it looks more like she's got, you can even kind of drip the balloon a little, like the balloon's drooping, and kind of make it so that it looks like it's kind of falling off and drooping here. All right. There. Now it looks like it kind of got a droop going for her. It looks like it's drooping, like she's like, and more minutes. Right? Now we're getting there. And then this last panel is going to be okay, so here's the thing. Somewhere along the line in this, we flipped locations. In the original drawings, I had Jen here, and I had Chang here. And then I realized at some point down the road here, we got to about here, It's like here, maybe. Here was where things were difficult to, yeah, here. So it looked better to me when we got towards the end of this to flip them so that they weren't from that side. The problem is, as you usually see, we're at 1 and it says, Lee, get up, sir, I hate you. These two now are going to be flipped in this panel. Where's my panel borders all of a sudden very thin too? Like these frame borders are like ridiculously thin all of a sudden. Like these borders are super thin. It's not a problem for that one. It is a problem for this one. Let's see if I can't fix the border on this. Right. The other thing we need to do, not in these borders, up here where it says frame 2, is we need to put in a 1 right here. And put it in a different font. The font we always choose for these things is Arial. Arial black, right? And this way, we all know it's page 1. It needs to live in this book, or in this box right here. And I need to decide what justification we have on this, and I think we want that justification, right? So we're going to save this guy. We're not going to save this guy because you developed another thing. Now we'll save this guy. We're going to have to fix the borders somehow, and I've forgotten how to do it. But that's okay. We're going to be working on this page. First page takes a lot longer than any subsequent pages because we got to remember how to do things, right? Like I had forgotten how to increase the border lines on this. It's going to take us some time. And I'm actually kind of feeling like I want to kind of give it a rest for right now. And we're going to call it for the day because this looks pretty cool. And I'm actually pretty happy with this. But I want to fix the kerning on my font. So I'm going to see if I can't get like a font editor. Which would be awesome, right? Let's look around and see if there's a font editor. Right? Like Font Forge. What you got out there on Font Forge there, Brent? Anything wrong with Font Forge? It's open source and I've got 208,000 downloads. I don't know. I got nothing. It's like I've got like dark here. like red here, red there. I know I've got red here. That's psoriasis. That's my normal psoriasis sort of stuff. But I look like I've been sunburned, like I was wearing sunglasses. So, cool. I might take Font Forge, which will allow me to at least fix the kerning on this font. Because it's so this is my handwriting. I went through and I made this font so that it is my font. I'm not using Comic Sans, I'm using Guy Sans. So, but there's a couple of things that even when you make a font, it always does a couple of things just really weird. Like I really would like for the I to not have zero kerning on either side. Because then when you type in Lee, which we're going to type in a ton in this comic, it's going to put it as U, right? Because you're just going to see a square U. As it'll be L and then I, and they'll be stuck right next to each other like this. So it's just going to make a U. And it's like, there should at least be kerning on either side of the I so that the spacing isn't horrible. It doesn't need a lot of spacing, but a little bit would be useful. So anyway, because we've work, we got the springs off, we actually started setting up the page we're going to be working on this week. It shouldn't take us the whole week to work on this page, but it is the first page, and the first page is always screwed up. So that never, the first page is where we have to remember all the rules and get back into the swing of things. And so we've got some time here. We're working on this. It's going to take us some effort. So this may take the whole week to do page 1, but it'll take a whole lot less time to do page 2. So that's the important part. So until then, though, we're going to get going and head on out, and I'm going to move on to the next task for the day, which is figuring out whether Font Forge is a good program or not, and whether I'm about to totally so cool. So it says Trojans in the executable for Font Forge. Yeah, well, that's not good. Anyway, okay, so I may not actually download Font Forge. Who knows? Anyway, I will chat with everybody later. Thank you for joining me today, Brent. I really appreciate it. It's good to have your company. And tomorrow we'll get further along to waking up Lee and getting her moving over here. And until then, everybody have a wonderful week and keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye.